In regards to the relations of the associated offender associated with the deprivation of exploitation of women on the domestic violence ranges, the vigil was supposed to be the vigil was supposed to remember the lady that innocently lost her life due to domestic homicide of a psychopath. But during the reign that was associated, the vigil was organised that from visualisation and inspection of the video content that there was a lady that instigated derogatory language towards the police force in enforcing her ideas. But this is to remember um, remember the situation that has touched everybody's hearts, and I do understand women's frustration upon, but to blame males upon violence and agenda is unethical, because as a male myself, I have been harassed by males and other females. So do I report this to the police and say that I've been exploited due to my agenda? No, because you have to understand, male and female. Yes, the neurological development of our brain is wired differently. But it doesn't actually mean that women have more power than men and men have more. Everybody should be equal, as we are humanities and we allowed to voice our opinions. I do understand that more needs to educate how males educated to interact with females and males on this basis. But this vigil was to mourn the loss of an innocent individual that has touched everybody's hearts. So to have a bit of compassion and empathy is very important, and it's important that females do not stay silent. They voice their opinions how we deodorise men, but to imply and instigate that more needs to be implemented to protect women's lives. But I see a lot of alpha males are utilising to protect, but to put to yourself in danger arms of individuals from exploitations of the vulnerable is very difficult, as each individual has psychological mental issues due to the neurotransmitters in the brain that that makes individuals act in indecisive ways and can be quite challenging behaviours which are associated with Mental Health Act. So for to us to understand this, we have to understand about mental health conditions and how this associates with behaviour of how individuals engage in the community. If the government is suppressing the amount of resources available in the for individuals to access, then there'd be less involvement associated with the help of the individual. So if the government are suppressing all these services, there will be no forms of mental or psychopathy or counsel one-to-one therapy or therapeutics that would support individuals on the mental health basis to that associate them to commit these crimes. And if anybody instigates a psychopath, is not related to mental health, it is associated with the the three traits of impairment of social fragmentation, social communication, and non-verbal communication of the central coherence process, how they process individuals. As you may understand that there are a large proportion of undiagnosed autistic individuals on the autistic spectrum, and we're not getting the support needed by the services due to the individual accumulating the support and reinforcing their infrastructure, but not helping the medical services, like the vulnerables in the healthcare, which not get vaccinated, and the vulnerable are a higher risk of getting subjected to COVID 2019. So more needs to be done on improving the health quality services that by to educate individuals and to provide the right PRN, as there are things like lorazepam, diazepam, and these are not illegal or legally to process without administration from certain pharmaceutical companies, but these do suppress individuals with anger-related issues. So social fragmentation is the way they communicate, how their behaviour is different from the neurotypical population, and due to the prejudice of neurotypical and neurodiverse population, arguments of autistic bullying as well. So You have to understand these issues can be associated with any human being, either female or male accomplice, to commit these certain crimes in the future in a criminal behavioral way. You don't need to understand how criminal behaviors be based on their psychology, but the support they need and the physical and mental and environmental upbringing that associates with the individual. I do understand that when females want to voice their opinions on this idea, but everybody has been traumatically stressed due to PTSD from this COVID 2019, and this is very important to understand. There's a large undiagnosed of individuals in the population which are underdiagnosed with mental health conditions. This might include schizophrenia, psychosis, personality disorder, autistic spectrum disorder, aggression issues, PTSD. How these will affect each individual's how they behave in society. So if we educate at a young age of how individuals can mimic or communicate with individuals with a non-derogatory basis, non-verbal, and to degrade individuals, especially you say women, but to say implied that not enough is being done to protect women in society. But you have to understand that males can be associated with mental health issues associated with depression, sociological upbringing, society upbringing, deprivation, poverty, homelessness, domestic abuse, domestic violence, gambling. But with men do not. Men are known as alpha males, where alpha males are usually to protect and safeguard the individual female from exploitation at harm's end, and they will not instigate these ideas as each individual. But if women are not to voice their opinions how men are to behave, to interact, or due to the subjectiveness of the amount of content that individuals can access on the internet from adult content, which is of a derogatory nature, can affect the psychological imagery, how males perceive women, and how we behave. So to imply that not enough is being done, but I have witnessed with my arms that an individual male would actually protect the female if the female was endangered. But as you implied, that male and female should be on a balanced status, basically, that should be equal agendas and equal opportunities for all. So why should a male have the responsibility to look after a female's mental health and well-being, when you don't understand how males' mental health problems associated with deprivation, gambling issues, PTSD, obsessive compulsive disorder. This kind of stuff is psychologically stemmed from mental health. So if the government is not doing enough, so how would we provide them good mental health from the government to support our relationships, either with our girlfriends or wives or females, to understand and support them and protect them? So a lot more needs to be done to understand this situation, like something known as narcissistic personality disorder, where a narcissistic individual has no emotional empathy to deceive, manipulate an individual due to the vulnerable needs, either someone with something known on the autistic spectrum or high-functioning autism that is associated with bullying and autistic bullying. So isn't it enough? It's not to understand about to staying closed behind and not having our views on why mental health is important, and in denial of mental health due to an individual going, every human being will go through some form of mental health during their lifetime. So to be in denial of this is not our responsibility, it's their responsibility at the same time. So to blame males for not doing enough to protect women, on which I have seen that a lot of alpha males would do a lot to protect their women in terms of bullying or self-harm or having this chivalrous gentleman behaviour. But it's important that as men we need to voice our opinions on how our mental health can be supported, like how gambling and domestic violence is related to the financial impact of the individual, or deprivation or unemployment and poverty is associated with each individual, and the government should be doing a lot more to excise this. And due to individuals of known of a colour of person, of ethnic minority is being subjected to prejudice views based on and gender equalities, and due to the way the pandemic is rolled out, and being victimization of blaming each individual for, but without knowing the background and what they face in life, because every human being has a story to tell, but some choose to not to say. So as a male myself, I have been exploited to harassment myself, but I choose not to. I choose not to dwell, because as a human being, as an alpha male, my fatherhood has taught me to be strong alpha male and to not let problems or challenges face. So women should have this same mentality at the same time. I do understand women want to feel weak and vulnerable, but it's very important that women can protect themselves and being aware of their surroundings themselves. As a male of ethnic or oriental background, I have been subjected to physical abuse, but as an individual that has been engaged with people with vulnerable needs, I do understand that we should treat, no matter of diversity, disability, of how we communicate, everybody equally in society. This is a place of freedom of speech for everyone as well. Thank you.